Yeah, man, we're a bit removed from the album release. It came out about a year ago, coming up to just about a year now, I believe, in July. But looking back on album number 4 with Back to Momo, man, what stands out about this album to you?
Well, I mean, the first three are like really dark.
Hmm.
I've been through a lot of stuff. I mean, just like any other human. But this record was kind of like getting back to basics. Getting our influence. I'm really influenced by blues and punk rock. And initially, our first three records, I'm really proud of those. But the producer always had this idea in his head that blues and like Foundation made it sound dated, and I never really agreed with that. So we got back to basics and we've really zeroed in on our sound. I mean, we've been around now for 10 years since our first record came out, so 12 years the band's been in existence. So and then versus this record, it's more about healing and having a good time and and enjoying yourself and casting out the pain that, fucking held me down for so long, and it's really, everybody has the power to let go of that shit. You don't have to carry that around with you. And it's all percent. So, but this record's about healing and getting back to basics, having a good time, kicking ass, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
like woohoo,
Hell yeah, man.
Yeah.
I've listened to the album so many times, and there's so many songs that stand out to me, man. But like you said, this album, just the feeling of it, and this album, this is like a party album, man. You can be partying it up, cruising down the highway, booze cruising it up, with this record blaring over the speakers, and it's perfect.
That's funny because I always tell people, I give a disclaimer, if I'm giving a CD to someone, I'm like, look, it may make you drive fast, drink harder, and fuck harder.
Yeah.
And people are like, really? And then I'll see them again. They're like, you know what? You're right. And it seems a lot of people like working out to this record, which is always a good sign.
Yeah, man. I can't listen to it when I'm driving to work because I'll be late because I'm probably going to get pulled over listening to this album because you just want to crank that, you want to put the gas down to 100 and just go. It's usually not a good not a good idea in the city. It's
right. Where do you live?
I'm in Indianapolis.
Oh, all right.
Yeah. But man, speaking of a good time, man, I mean, like I said, this album is perfect for a good time. And songwriting is very therapeutic for a lot of people. Writing is in general.
Yeah.
But the feel-good feeling of the album, how therapeutic was it to write a lot of these songs and this vibe of the album coming off a lot of the maybe darker experiences, the darker content of some of the previous records?
I mean, for me, it's all therapeutic. Music is therapy for me since I was 5 years old. But this was about really, instead of being trapped in the story, it was about letting go of the story. You know what I'm saying? Which is a big difference. And, you were mentioning that the record has been out for a year. Appetite for Destruction was out for a year and a half before Guns N' Roses broke. And, sometimes, it's a different world. It's a different music market. And, sometimes it takes a minute for people to catch on, and I think we've definitely caught the attention of many people. So, that's great.
Oh yeah, definitely, man. And the video for Evil Eye, dude, that album is that video is amazing. I mean, that video is
Thanks.
that video is so cool, man.
Yeah, my son plays me as a kid. It's a concept video about my childhood, and my son plays me in that video, and and this woman played my mother, and it's a concept video. People have asked, why isn't the band in it? Well, it's a concept video about my childhood, and I had a mean mother, man, and I really, and she's still not very nice, but you know what? It's like she loves me the way she loves me. I forgive her, and I got to move on. I got to let that shit go, man. Because it was showing up in every single relationship I ever had with a woman, man. And it wasn't working, So.
Yeah. Well, I mean, and not letting go of certain things from your past, a lot of times that leads to self-destruction, and honestly, a lot of times the
Yeah.
end. And in a world,
Yeah.
in the rock and roll world, there's
Yeah.
so many musicians that aren't making it now, and I think a lot of it has to do with not letting go and the drug use taking over.
I mean,
So,
Scott Weiland's a really good
yeah,
example of like,
exactly.
he was sexually abused as a kid, dude. So was I, and lots of misconceptions, and you're fed some really bad information about sex, and as a man, a grown man, that shit is really shameful and stuff.
Hmm.
And it's like it was hard for him to talk about that, and I feel like I gotta talk about it because I'm not the only one, and especially for men, dude, like it's really common with, women, like you hear more women talking about sexual abuse
Yeah.
than men because it's so shameful, it's so taboo,
You feel
it's like,
emasculated with it almost.
dude, yeah. I mean, I've been through some gnarly shit, you know what I mean? And it's like, but so what? It's like you gotta let it go. Life is too short, and that stuff is in the past. It only exists in between my ears.
Exactly.
You
You are what you make yourself, and you can't let yourself be defined by
Yeah.
it. I mean, that same thing happened to me as a kid, and
Yeah.
if you can become successful in any way, you're overcoming it, and with your art, you become that much stronger, and the music becomes that much better because of it. You know.
I agree. Because it comes from a primal place.
Exactly. But man, I want to talk about Todd joining the band. Todd Youth. Oh my God, his resume is his resume is ridiculous. Can you tell me how you guys got involved with each other and how you connected and how he joined the band?
Well, he didn't per se join the band. We've talked about it a bit, but I
Okay.
knew him since I was a kid. We grew up in the same circles and park, and we had very similar childhoods, and like on our own at a ridiculously young age, and squatting in New York City, and which is living in burnt out buildings. We've been through gnarly shit, and we became friends. I guess 16 years ago or so. And then we wrote a song together on this last record, Till Death Do Us Part.
Mhm.
We wrote a song called Digging for Gold,
Yeah.
which was really well received. And, we just decided to write a whole record together. I love the guy. He's quite a challenging guy. He's really talented. Me and him come from the same musical school. Like I don't need to tell him, yo, or check out this skate or check out this here.
Mhm.
And I mean the chemistry me and that guy have is ridiculous.
Nice.
And I love him. And I couldn't say enough good things about him. I mean, he really is a good-hearted guy.
Awesome.
And he's somebody that I definitely worry about, who's dealt with pain that he can't seem to face. So I hope he is able to do that.
Nice. Yeah. I mean, when the relationship is that strong and the friendship has been going on for that long, that makes the music is that much better, because you it's almost like you just know how each other work. You don't have to bounce as many ideas off. You just come in, you jam. This works.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
Like on the Evil Eye, like he came up with the O part, and it was like, it's in the chorus, and it's a total Misfits thing. Like he played with Glenn Danzig for years. Like, that part, that's a total Misfits, influence right there. That one part.
Amazing.
We had a really good time doing the record. It was awesome.
Nice, man. I was looking back at some prior interviews, and I read that, man, the working title was In the Moment. Then you changed it to Back to Momo.
Yeah.
And Momo's is a whorehouse in L.A., correct?
Yeah. Yeah.
Why change it from In the Moment to Back to Momo? What led to that change?
I mean, lots of, for instance, movies, they start out with a working title and then it metamorphoses into something else. So that's kind of what happened. And it was going to be called actually In This Moment.
Okay.
And then I found out that there was a band called that.
Yeah.
So I didn't want to get confused, confuse people. And then, back to Momo, it's like, it's a play off the sexual addiction and the sexual abuse that I had, because it's like, it's like, man, another failed relationship, another fucking divorce. Oh, well, back to Momo. Like, I got to get me some, but
Right.
I wanted to go deeper, but haven't been able to do that yet. So I'm just going to have, the first time I had sex, I was 13 years old. My father bought me a hooker, dude.
Wow.
So, yeah. So it's like, I mean, it's not something that I wear like a badge on my sleeve. It's like, fuck, here I'm going back to Momo again,
Right.
like, because like anybody else, we desire connection. We, we desire acceptance and love, and there's so many things that can block you so many things that blocked me that I was blind to. Like, I didn't even know, like, I blamed everybody, dude, except myself. And it was really, I had to do a lot of internal work on myself to get free of all those ties that blinded me for so long.
Man, and that really shows through on this album. And speaking of, with it being out for about a year now, have you started looking at what the next album is going to be like?
Yeah, I'm starting to get music and stuff for it, and I haven't wrote any melodies yet, but I got a lot of ideas, song titles, lyrics, I got a lifetime's worth of lyrics, and then, and how we write is we'll come up with the riff, the arrangement. I usually, when I have the arrangement, I'll listen to it, and now with my iPhone, I can have the music playing in the background, and I'll scat a melody just right off the bat. And usually, the first melody is the best one. A couple tweaks in there, and then I apply the lyrics. But I can tell you what the name's going to be. The name of the next record, it's going to be called Letters from the Psych Ward.
Oh, that's awesome. I love that name.
That's
killer.
I was at a therapy session. I'm like, my girlfriend doesn't write me back, what the hell? And he goes, why would she? That's like Letters from the Psych Ward. I was like, Letters from the Psych Ward? I'm like, that's the name of my next record.
That's perfect. I love it.
Yeah.
Oh,
so, but, we're still working back to Momo. We got a few more singles on there to go. We're going to do a video for Super Jaded next. And,
awesome.
Maybe Wine Dine the 69, too.
Yes, I love that song.
Yeah.
And that may be my favorite one on the record. I don't know why. I've listened. I'm at work today, and I've listened to that song 3 times today, just going back to it. Like, love it.
Nice.
Yes. The album is killer, man. And I can't wait to hear the next one.
Right on.
Man, dude, thank you so much for taking time to talk to me today. This has been awesome.
Yeah, thank you. Right on.
Man. Hopefully we'll talk again soon, and can't wait to see everything coming out.
Well, thanks so much, man. I appreciate the support, believe me.
Definitely, man. Have a good afternoon.
All right, you too. Take care.
See ya.
Bye.